A lot of locals say that Tulum is the most expensive place in Mexico.
So everybody always talks about how cheap it is to go down and visit Mexico, but that wasn't the experience that I had.
I finally found the side of town that I think is relatively cheap. It looks cheap over here, but it ain't cheap.
When I went down to Mexico, I thought it was one of the most overpriced and outlandishly expensive places that I have ever visited. And I'm somebody, I live in the US, I like to frequently visit New York City, Miami, Los Angeles. I live in Atlanta, so I'm used to how much things cost in major cities in the United States. But going down to Mexico, I felt as though things down there were more expensive than they are in the United States, except for Hawaii. Maybe if I could compare prices, I would say I felt like going down to Tulum, Mexico was as much money as going to Hawaii. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the top 10 most overpriced things that I saw on my 1 week stay in Tulum, Mexico. So the first overpriced thing that I noticed while going to Tulum, Mexico, this wasn't even in Tulum, Mexico. The first overpriced thing I noticed was trying to get a taxi ride that would take me from Playa del Carmen to Tulum, about a 50-minute taxi ride. So the first taxi driver that we called up, he said he wanted $235, about 4,500 pesos. And then, of course, we didn't pay that. We went to the hotel front desk, told them that they wanted to charge us $235. The hotel front desk we were at, they thought that was absolutely crazy, and they called us up another taxi for less money. Okay, so next we're in Tulum. We go down to the hotel zone to check out the beach. There's seaweed all over the place. My girlfriend's thirsty, so she wants to get a bottle of water. They're selling bottles of water on the beach for $15. $15 for a bottle of water. Now, luckily, we went inside one of the hotels and we got some water from one of the front desk at one of the hotels for a lot cheaper. Maybe like $5 or $6 for a bottle of water. That is still expensive, but reasonable. $15, that is just lunacy. I would never disrespect my bank account by paying $15 for a bottle of water.
If you go online, they'll try to charge you guys $80 a day for these ATVs. Although when you come here in person, they're way cheaper. They might be like 50 or 60 a day. I think for this one, I paid 60 a day for 3 days. If you get it for a week, they have a week price that's even lower for I think they said more than 5 days you get a discount. So more than 5 days, maybe like $50 a day or even as low as 40 a day. Nobody pay 80 for these. As you get quoted online for $80, say no. Honestly, don't even book an ATV in advance because they're everywhere down here. When you come down here, just find you a cheap spot for the ATV and grab you one for the low.
And now that we're in Tulum, there was so much stuff I wanted to do. I wanted to go see Chichen Itza, the Mayan pyramids. I wanted to go do a cenote tour. And then when I looked online at the price for these excursions, it was about $120 to $200 per person to go on these excursions. Now, the Chichen Itza tour was about an 8-hour tour. Those were pushing about $200 a person. Yo, $200 is so high. I could book an entire 4-day cruise back in the United States for $200 on Carnival. And even the cenote tours that were $120 plus for 3 hours. That is ridiculously crazy. If you're going with 2 people, it's gonna be $250 to go on this tour. Now, the next overpriced thing that I had to go through, I went to one cenote. When we were in Tulum, I only visited one cenote and I managed to run up my debit card $150 at this cenote. They charged for everything. They charged me for my GoPro. They actually had a sign in the front that said, I think it said no drones. And honestly, you could bring in any camera you wanted to. So they had the sign outside that had prices on it. Me and my girlfriend got a guided tour. That was about $35 a person, so damn, $70 immediately. Plus we got a paddleboard, another $30. Plus they charge you for every single camera that you bring inside. And we brought in 3 cameras, so we had to pay them money to use the drone. We had to pay them money to use my GoPro. And then I had another camera, another professional camera, and we had to pay them money for that professional camera as well. So by the time we got done with the cenote, we had spent $150 at the cenote. Now, if you're gonna go by Tulum and you'd like to work out, one spot you have to absolutely go to is Jungle Gym. So I went to Jungle Gym. It's a beachfront gym where the workout equipment is made out of stuff you would find in the jungle. So they got dumbbells made out of wood. The plates for the barbells, instead of being metal, are made out of wood. This might be the coolest gym I have ever seen. They actually have 2 locations. They have one location in town, and then they have another location that is on the beach. Now, when we went to Jungle Gym, I was so tired of spending money, I went in by myself because it was $30 per gym location per person. So for me and my girlfriend to go inside of Jungle Gym, it would have been $60 for us to go inside and just, take some photos and then walk out. I didn't feel like spending $60, so I went in by myself and I got the 2 gym pass, so they charged me $45 and they gave me access to both gyms for one day. So for one day of working out at Jungle Gym was $45. More money than I've ever paid for a one-day pass in the gym in the United States. Now, if you're in downtown Tulum, there's so many shops and boutiques and little stores and stuff, and everybody's calling your attention, being like, "Hey man, come over here and check out my shop. I got purses. Do you smoke?" There was one guy, he walked up to us, he was like, hey, you guys got camera paparazzi. Hey, you should come in my store and buy some stuff. He said my prices are cheaper than Walmart.
Hey, hola.
Just look, check it out.
Check it out.
Cheaper than Kmart, better than Walmart.
I was like, oh, cheaper than Walmart. That sounds cheap to me. And he was like, you smoke cigars? I was like, no, I don't smoke. He was like, oh, don't worry, I'll teach you how to smoke. Just making some jokes. We go inside, and my girlfriend likes this purse that she sees. And the guy, he's like, oh, this purse for you, it's handmade. I can give you guys a good price. I was like, how much for this purse? ¿Cuánto cuesta? I was like, how much? He said 2,000 pesos. 2,000 pesos. Too much money. $100 for a purse. He was like, okay, for you, I can do a better price. 1,500 pesos. I was like, no, still too much. He went all the way down to 1,000 pesos. I was like, 1,000 pesos, too much money. So me and my girlfriend, we left, we walked out, and we came back. Maybe like an hour later, we walked past the store on accident. The guy that saw us, he came running out of the store. He was like, okay, my final offer. I can do 500 pesos as the minimum. So this man went down 75% to get us to buy that purse. And at 500 pesos, we actually did go ahead and buy it. I think that was about $25. And it's my girlfriend's favorite purse right now. She's been using it every single place she goes to. So, did I think Mexico was overpriced and a scam? I definitely thought it was overpriced. It's the most overpriced place I have ever visited. After my 2-week stay in Mexico, I was like, I told my girlfriend, I was like, look, I'm ready. I am ready to get back to the United States where it's cheap. Because like Tulum has to be the most overpriced place in the whole country of Mexico. So when y'all go there, either just expect to eat and buy all your stuff at the same place that the locals eat and buy their stuff at, or be ready to, bring a few extra $1,000 just to be able to eat and shop in the tourist areas around Tulum, Mexico. And that is all. Until next time, hasta luego.